What's up, y'all? I'm Charlie. Today I'm going to be showing y'all how to make my homemade Oreo cookie cake. Now all this is 2 layers of Oreo cookie cake, which is made from scratch. We frost it with a Oreo cookie Swiss meringue buttercream. In addition to that, we add Oreo cookies onto the top and the sides of the cake as part of the decorations. This recipe calls for about 15 or more individual servings of Oreo cookie cake, depending on how you slice it, and it is absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's all what you'll need to make your Oreo cookie cake. Let's get started. You'll need some all-purpose flour, sugar, salt, baking powder, unsalted butter at room temperature, eggs at room temperature, whole milk at room temperature. You can use the fat-free version or the full-fat version, whichever one you prefer. Sour cream at room temperature, canola oil. You can also use vegetable oil as well. 1 package, that's 1 pound 3 ounces of family-size Oreo cookies. And for your flavorings, you will need some vanilla extract, butter extract, and almond extract. You will also need some confectioner sugar. To bake your Oreo cookie cake, you will need some Baker's Joy non-stick baking spray, 2 9-inch round cake pans, and for your decorations, you will need a Wilton number 1M tip. Now if you don't have this, you can use the Wilton number 2A tip as well. And don't forget your coupler and tip set right here. And you will also need a disposable piping bag. And there we have it. Alright, let's get straight to it. We're going to start by separating 15 Oreo cookies. We're going to take our cookies and we're going to place that into one bowl. Now we're going to take the filling and we're going to place that into a separate bowl. And this is going to be for our cake, okay? In a food processor, we're going to add our Oreo cookies in there. And we're going to pulse the cookies until they resemble small bite-sized pieces. And this is how it looks when we're done. This is exactly what we want. Now we're going to separate 6 egg whites from 6 egg yolks. We're going to take our egg whites and we're going to place that into one bowl. And we're going to take our egg yolks and we're going to place that into a separate bowl. For our dry ingredients, add 2 2/3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Sift all ingredients into a medium-sized bowl. Make sure you get all that in there. Now we're going to give this a quick stir. Now remember the filling from those 15 Oreo cookies? Yeah, we're going to take this and place this on the microwave on high for 1 minute. And this is how it looks when we're done. As you can see, that's nice, creamy, and smooth. Completely melted. In a separate medium-sized bowl, add a 1/2 cup of whole milk at room temperature, a 1/2 cup of sour cream at room temperature, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of butter extract, a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, and remember that filling from those Oreo cookies that we melted? We're going to add that in there. Going to give that a nice flavor. Now we're going to take our whisk and we're going to stir all ingredients until combined. You want to make sure you stir it real good, okay? Now let's get started with our batter. In a stand mixer with the paddle attachment, add 3 sticks of unsalted butter at room temperature, 2 tablespoons of canola oil. Remember, you can use any other type of oil if you like, and 2 1/4 cups of sugar. Start your mixer on a medium-low speed just to get that butter, canola oil, and sugar incorporated. Then you're going to turn up your mixer to the highest setting and you're going to mix this on high speed for 4 minutes. Now at some point during those 4 minutes, you're going to stop your mixer and you're going to scrape down the sides of your bowl. And you're going to be doing this throughout the entire process. Now we're going to continue mixing that in. It's looking really good. Scrape down the sides of your bowl. Now we're going to add 6 egg whites into 3 separate intervals. We're going to start our mixer on a medium speed, and we're going to add 2 egg whites one at a time into 3 separate intervals. Okay, that was the first amount. Now we're adding the second amount and the third amount. So that's 2, 4, 6. Okay. Scrape down the sides of your bowl. Now at this point you will notice that your mixture will have a lot of volume. That is exactly what we want, okay? Add 1 cup of your all-purpose flour mixture and a half a cup of your milk and sour cream mixture. Mix this on a medium-low speed until combined. Scrape down the sides of your bowl. Add 1 cup of your all-purpose flour mixture and 1/4 cup of your milk and sour cream mixture. Mix this on a medium-low speed until combined. Scrape down the sides of your bowl. Add 2/3 cup of your all-purpose flour mixture and 1/4 cup of your milk and sour cream mixture. Make sure you get it all in there. Alright. Now you're going to mix this on a medium-low speed until combined. Now you want to make sure you do not overmix this, okay? Scrape down the sides of your bowl. Spray 2 9-inch round cake pans with Baker's Joy non-stick baking spray. Preheat your oven to 325 degrees. Now you're going to add your Oreo cookie pieces. Now you're going to take your spatula and you're just going to fold those Oreo cookie pieces into the cake batter. And this is how it looks when we're done. Our Oreo cookie cake batter is now ready. Now we're going to add our prepared Oreo cookie cake batter into our baking pans. Just add it in there as even as possible, okay? Now you're going to take a back of a spoon and you're just going to spread that cake batter around each baking pan as evenly as possible. Now to make the batter more even, you're going to shake your pan slightly. Now I also like to weigh my cake pans just to make sure that I have the right amount of batter in each cake pan. That's perfect. Now it's ready to be baked. Now we're going to place these into a preheated 325 degree oven. And as you can see, I'm placing it on the middle rack because I'm using dark coated pans. And I'm going to bake this for about 45 minutes. Alright, now we're going to remove our Oreo cookie cake out of the oven after baking on 325 degrees on the middle rack for 45 minutes. Toothpick inserted into each cake layer should come out clean. Now we're going to let these cool completely before we remove them out of the pan. Now let's get started with our meringue. And this is for our frosting, so pay close attention, okay? We're going to separate 3 egg whites from 3 egg yolks. We're going to take our egg whites and place that into a metal bowl and take our egg yolks and place that into a separate bowl. Now you will need some cream of tartar. I forgot to mention that earlier, okay? And along with that, you're going to need a thermometer. I know this is a meat thermometer, but any type of thermometer will work, okay? Now we're going to separate 15 Oreo cookies. We're going to take our cookies and place that into one bowl, and we're going to take the filling and we're just going to place that into a separate bowl, alright? Now in a food processor, we're going to add our Oreo cookies. Blend this for 1 minute or until the cookies resemble very fine crumbs, alright? It's very important.
If the cookies are not very fine crumbs, you're going to have some problems with piping the frosting onto the cake for decorations, alright? So you want to make sure that this is very fine crumbs like how you see here, alright? Now we're going to take 12 Oreo cookies, I'm using a serrated knife, and we're going to cut each Oreo cookie in half. So that's 24 pieces of Oreo cookies all together, alright? Preheat your fire to medium-high heat. Now let's continue making our meringue. In a small pot with about 1 1/2 cups of boiling water, we're going to take our metal bowl with our egg whites in it and place it on top. And to that we're going to add 2/3 cup of sugar. We're going to take a spatula and we're just going to stir this continuously for 1 minute or until that sugar is dissolved and our egg whites are warm, okay? Now once that's done, we're just going to remove that and place that onto a towel. We're going to give this a quick stir just to make sure that it is nice and combined. Now let's check the temperature. Temperature of the egg whites should be close to about 120 degrees. This is exactly what we're looking for, alright? Perfect. Now we're going to add our flavorings. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of butter extract, 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract, and 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. Now we're going to take our spatula and we're just going to stir all the ingredients together until combined. I always make my meringues in the metal bowls because with those plastic bowls, those can have some traces of oil build up and that'll prevent our meringue from mixing together. Now we're going to let this cool completely. In a stand mixer with the whisk attachment, we're going to add our egg white mixture. We just add it in there all at once. Okay. Now we're going to mix this on high speed for 5 minutes or until the meringue reaches stiff peaks. It can take up to about 10 minutes total, okay, so you want to be very patient with it, alright? And this is how it looks when we're done. As you can see, that's a nice stiff meringue. It's perfect. Now at this time we're going to add 2 sticks of unsalted butter at room temperature and 1 cup of confectioner's sugar. We're going to mix this on a medium-low speed until combined. Scrape down the sides of your bowl. Add 2 sticks of unsalted butter at room temperature. And to that we're going to add 1 cup of confectioner's sugar. Mix on a medium-low speed until combined, okay? Scrape down the sides of your bowl. Now we're going to add 1 stick of unsalted butter at room temperature, 2/3 cup of confectioner's sugar, and remember that filling from those 15 Oreo cookies that we did for the frosting? Yeah, we're going to add that in there as well. It's going to give our frosting a wonderful flavor. Now we're going to mix this on a medium-low speed until combined. Once all the ingredients are combined, you're going to turn your mixer up to the highest setting and you're going to mix this on high speed for 4 minutes. It's looking pretty good. Scrape down the sides of your bowl. Now you will notice that your frosting has lots of volume. That's exactly what we're looking for. If your frosting turns out runny, place it into your refrigerator for about 15 to 30 minutes. Return it back to your mixer. Mix it for about 2 to 4 minutes and you'll be good to go. Okay? Now we're going to add our Oreo cookie crumbs. Just add it in there all at once. Now we're going to take our spatula and we're just going to fold those Oreo cookie crumbs into the buttercream. Just do this until it's combined. And there we have it. Our Oreo cookie Swiss meringue buttercream is now ready. Now as for our cake layers, they bake pretty evenly, so I don't have to trim them off or anything like that. But if your cake layers have a dome on top, you could just take a bread knife and just trim that off. Just like that, and you'll be all set. Alright, here we have a cake pad. Now we're going to take a small amount of our Oreo cookie buttercream frosting and we're just going to spread that onto the cake pad. Spread a small amount. Now we're going to add our bottom layer of cake on top, and we're just going to press that down to seal, and this will make sure that the cake doesn't move. Now we're going to add 1 1/2 cups of our Oreo cookie buttercream frosting into our disposable piping bag. And you want to make sure that the tip of the bag is cut off, okay? As you see here. Now we're going to pipe the Oreo cookie buttercream frosting onto the bottom layer of cake. We're just going to go all the way around, all the way until we reach the center of the cake layer, alright? Now we're going to take a spatula and we're just going to spread that around as evenly as possible. Right? Now we're going to add our second layer of cake on top. We're going to press that down to seal it. Now we're going to add a small amount of our Oreo cookie buttercream frosting, and we're just going to spread that along the top. Just spread that along the top and the sides of the cake, and this is called a crumb coat. This prevents the crumbs from being on the final coating of cake. Alright, we don't want that. So now we're going to take this and place this into our refrigerator for about 15 to 30 minutes. It's been about 15 to 30 minutes now. We're going to add about 2 to 2.5 cups of our Oreo cookie buttercream frosting on top of our cake. Now you want to use your judgmental skills to determine how much to add, because we still have to reserve a little bit more of this frosting for the decorations. Now we're going to take our spatula and we're just going to spread that frosting on top of our cake as evenly as possible. Now as the frosting reaches the edge of the cake, it will free fall. So as it free falls, you're just going to take that frosting and you're just going to spread it onto the sides of the cake as well. Alright? Now once done, you're going to take your spatula and you're just going to smoothen out the top and the sides of the cake. Now I didn't have to warm my spatula or anything like that. The frosting was so smooth that I just glided my spatula around the cake and it turned out smooth. Alright? Now as you can see, we reserved more of the buttercream frosting, and this is about 14 ounces, about close to 2 cups of this buttercream frosting in here. Alright? Now we're going to take our coupler and we're just going to add that into our disposable piping bag. And remember, I'm using the Wilton number 1M tip, but if you don't have that, you can use the Wilton number 2A tip, okay? I'm just going to take the tip and I'm just going to place it onto the coupler, screw it in place, and it's ready to go. Now we're going to add the Oreo cookie buttercream frosting into the disposable piping bag. Alright, now we're ready to decorate our cake. So let's get started. Alright, so we made 12 indentations onto the edge of the cake, and this is where we're going to add our buttercream swirls. Alright, so you want to make sure you do that. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to pipe 12 buttercream swirls onto the edge of the cake. Just go all around the cake with this, and make sure that you go over those indentation markings on the edge of the cake. Do it the best way you can. Alright, and there you go. Now we're going to pipe the buttercream swirls onto the sides of the cake. This time you're going to use the buttercream swirls that's on top of the cake as a guideline. Now just align the buttercream swirls that's you're placing on the sides to the top, and you're going to need about 12 of those all together. Alright, and there you go. Now remember our Oreo cookie halves? Yeah, we're just going to start by taking about 12 of them, and we're just going to place them right in the middle of each buttercream swirl on the sides of the cake. You're going to start on the sides first. So on the sides of the cake, you're going to have 12 Oreo half pieces on the sides, as you see here. Now we're going to take the other 12 and we're just going to place those right into the middle of each buttercream swirl. Alright, so on the top that's 12, and on the bottom that's 12, so that's 24 pieces total. Here is the final piece, and we're finished decorating our cake. Now we're going to let this cake sit for about 1 hour before we serve it, and that's to ensure that everything is settled and ready to go. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and cut you a slice. Wow, look at that. Look at how beautiful that looks. Mm-mm-mm. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Homemade Oreo cookie cake made from scratch by a New Orleans native. If you like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified of my videos. You can also check out this recipe along with all of my other recipes. Visit www.charliethecookandrews.com. You can also find me on Facebook and on Instagram under the name Charlie the Cook Andrews. Stay tuned as Charlie's Taste Test is coming up next.
Now it's time to go ahead and take a bite. I mean, look at that. How good that looks. Man, if you love Oreo cookies, you're gonna love this cake. The cake is fluffy, moist, has a nice Oreo cookie flavor in addition to all those other flavors like the vanilla, the butter, and that almond extract. The almond extract really makes this cake special. Really, really good. And then the frosting is soft, not too sweet, just the right amount of sweetness compared to like the buttercreams. They'd be overly sweet. This one is not too sweet. It's really good. So, give the recipe a try. I hope you all enjoyed the video. And until next time, have a good one. Peace. Guess I'll try with Oreo on it.